Hi guys, I don't know what the fuck the camera angle is, but this is a mac and cheese with turkey lunch meat ripped up and put in it and my 2 big ass bottles of water. I feel like talking about near-death experiences. Can y'all hear me okay? Does that sound like good pussy? Because mine sounds better. I have technically 3 near-death experiences to talk about. But since 2 of them happened most recently and involved my blazer and me and snow, I'm gonna talk about them first. The other one, I don't know if I've ever talked about in a video, but I'm going to today. Near-death experiences MUKBANG. So basically, what happened was, I went out a couple nights ago, and it wasn't even snowing that bad. So I was like, okay, I'm good. It's gonna stop snowing by the time I go to leave to come home. Which I was expecting this to take maybe a half hour tops to help fix my cousin's iPhone, because, newsflash, to restore an iPhone that's been disabled because you're too stupid to remember your password or write it down anywhere, you have to have something, like a computer, that has iTunes downloaded on it. And if you don't, or can't get access to that on your own accord, I suggest you don't buy a fucking iPhone. Stick to a shitty Android, or whatever the fuck you think of Android. But anyway, I got there at like 9 something. Or 10. And by the time I went to come home, it was almost 1. Because we tried to restore it like 3 different times, and it did not work until I was on chat with Kyle from Apple. I've tried 3 different times to do this to their devices, separate devices, different devices, but Apple devices nonetheless, and it never works until I'm either on the phone with someone from Apple or chatting with someone from Apple while I'm doing it. Okay. So, it works. I go home at like 12 something. And their house is right next to a pull-in for a Minute Mart. And when you pull into the Mini Mart, you can drive in a circle and pull back out and go back out onto the road and head to my house. This is what I plan to do. And for some reason, it was just snowing really bad. It did not even stay snow for that long. It turned to slush within a matter of like an hour. But in that moment, it was all snow still. It was all laying on the road. And I couldn't see this way when I was looking. So I hurried up and punched it. I did a full 360. I just put my hands on the wheel and prayed, and I said, I'm gonna crash. I'm gonna fuck up my car. Took my foot off the gas. And I did a full rotation. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna pull back in and, And I did. I pulled back in, I turned around, and I went home. I made it home safely and everything, but I was like, I could have died. Then more recently, which, by the way, I don't know if you guys can hear all the chewing and the lip smacking and stuff, but if you can, you're welcome, because this is a near-death experience MUKBANG ASMR, so you're welcome. But I was coming home from work, and the snow was much worse. It was 2 or 3 nights later. And I ended up going and staying at my friend's place, which it wasn't her place. She's staying with her friends. And they allowed me to come stay with them that night instead of driving 20 more minutes home, because no one likes driving in the snow if they don't have to. That was the plan before I headed out onto the road to come home. To go anywhere from work. The longer I drove, the more definite I was yeah, I'm gonna stay at their house instead of driving home. And I get to a red light that was just put in, by the way, which if it was not put in, I would not have had this issue. And I'm like, okay, I know what's gonna happen. I'm probably gonna die if it happens, but I'm going. And this is one of those red lights that it's awkward. Where as you're approaching it, if it turns orange, you start hitting the brakes way before you need to, just because that's how it works. Because you're too far away to try and get through the orange. but you're too close to assume that it's not going to be red by the time you get there anymore. So I go to tap the brakes to slow down. I wasn't even trying to stop. And I start going this way. And there's a pole. And I pulled the wheel. I didn't jerk the wheel. But I started going that way. And I didn't hit the guardrail, thankfully. But, like, I just, like... There was, like, this much space between my car and the guardrail. And I was like, what stopped my vehicle? Like, because I obviously was not hitting the brakes anymore at that point. I was just like, you know what? I'm lucky to be alive. If it snows again this year like this, I'm not driving in it. No. Third time's the charm. The other near-death experience is different. I was out with a gentleman friend, and I'm not going to tell you his name, I'm not going to tell you where he works, I'm not going to tell you anything personal about anybody in this story. But if any of the people involved see this, hi! He works at a, like, garage, and it's a business as well. His bosses allow him to go there and fix his vehicles at night, so he can go there at night and has access to it at night because he's worked there for a while. And parked out around this is like a circle of cars that are broken down that have been there for a while. And most of them are like, in a week we'll get to this one and fix it. And it'll be fixed and it'll be taken home by the owner. They have a church van / bus, which means it's only a little bigger than a van, but the door on it is like a bus door where it like opens this way and folds and then unfolds and shuts. Me and him had gotten on that before and messed around and done stuff. I'm going to tell you what stuff is. But this night was very different. And I'm going to tell you why what happened was so stupid. We get on this bus, and I think we're alone. I didn't notice any difference there, but we're on the bus, we're talking, we're like fooling around kind of, but not yet. But his ass is down to his socks and his boxers. And it's one of those situations where, like, if you're stepping or standing on it and you move a little bit, the whole bus goes, you know. And I hear, okay, come the fuck out, in a person's voice that I don't recognize from outside of this church bus thing. I turn over my shoulder to see out the window the shape of a man, taller than me, and the guy that I was there with. And in his hand, I see a gun. And I just go, I'm gonna get fucking shot in my head, you know. I was like, who the fuck is that? He's got a fucking gun. Like, that's what I said to the guy. He's like, come out, I know you're in there. I was like, who is that? And I get sent out first because I'm the most clothed. I hadn't taken anything off, I'll give you that. So I walk out and I have to like shimmy my way out of the fucking bus doors because the bus doors were messed up, so they didn't just open and close, you had to like move them. I come out with kind of my hands up because I'm like moving the bus doors out of my way, and I come out and he's like, ID. The guy says ID, which I thought he was like a cop or something. And I put my ID on this like car hood that's there. Meanwhile, I have the shakes because I still think I'm gonna die. I still think I'm gonna get shot. And he had also said, while I was getting off the bus and while I was off the bus, he tells him, hurry up, get out here, to the guy I was with. The guy I'm with probably knows who this is by now because he knows him. So he probably knows whose voice it is. This person that had this gun had a conceal and carry permit, by the way. And I'm out there, my ID's on the hood of this car, and he finally manages to get dressed and come out, and this guy starts yelling at him, and he's like, I thought you knew better, yada yada yada, because A, he thought that the guy I was with was married. He's not, and he thought I was underage, which I'm not. And we never went there after that to mess around. But the funny thing about it is that night, we went somewhere else afterwards because you have all this adrenaline pumping through you. But after the guy, like, looked at my ID and talked to him and was, like, disappointed in him, we get back in his car and go somewhere else, and he's like, I should have known better because I saw his truck. And I was like, oh, whoa. You saw the crazy motherfucker with the carrying concealed permits truck on the premises and didn't think to skedoodle somewhere else. What? Fucking. We did go there and mess around again, but, we weren't outside, we weren't in the thing, we were in the place inside of a van, an actual fucking van. And every 5 seconds we thought we heard somebody coming in or someone trying to break in or him there with his fucking gun, and I'm just like, this is it, Lord. So, like, yeah, I don't really mess with that person anymore, so, yeah. So those were my 3 near-death experiences. I hope you liked this video. If you did, subscribe. I hope you could actually hear me. If you couldn't, I'm gonna be angry at these headphones since they have a mic-a-doodle on them. I know I stopped eating about halfway through, but I didn't want this video to be 15 minutes long, so it's almost. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my content. Just an unofficial white bitch out.